Assalamu alaikum. In today's video, we are going to analyze a very confusing game played between Mikhail Tal, trainer, and Mikhail Tal himself. Mikhail Tal was playing as a white and he starts the game with e4, c5, knight to f3, d6, d4, Sicilian defense, c takes on d4, knight takes on d4, knight to f6, knight to c3, knight to c6, bishop g5, e6, queen to d2, preparing long castle, bishop to e7, long castle, short castle, knight to b3, stopping the exchange of the knight, queen to b6, f3, a6, and now g4, rook to d8, bishop to e3, attacking the queen and giving opening his way for the g pawn, queen to c7, h4, b5. Now white is trying to push his pawns on the king side. Same the black is doing with his queen side pawn. So here white played g5, knight to d7, and now g6. G6 is opening line by force. H captures on g6, h5, g captures on h5, rook captures on f5, and now rook has this beautiful h file open. And now our threat is queen to h2 and giving mate on the h8. So here black played knight to f6, but instead of knight to f6, black could have played knight c2, e5, and now queen to h2, and now black would have played, and now this position is not so good for the white because the knight to f6 is coming, and now white will have to move his rook. So but in the game black played knight to f6, rook to h1, d5, opening the diagonal for the queen to cover the h2 file, h2 square, d5. Mikhail Tal stopped the defense of the queen on h2 physically, and now you have two options to capture it. Number one is knight captures on e5 and second is queen captures on e5. Alexander played knight captures on e5, but let's see what happen if we capture it with the queen. Let's say queen captures on e5, but now bishop to b4, the queen has only one square to go, queen to f5, and now bishop to d3. Your queen is trapped, so you have to give away your knight by playing knight to e4, and now f captures on e4, d captures on e4, and now you are thinking you can get your piece back, but we will play queen to h2, giving checkmate threat in one. So the only move that work for the black is f6, but now bishop captures on e4 and the black queen is trapped. Black, let's play rook captures on d1, rook captures on d1, and the queen has only one square, queen to g4, but now rook to g1 and this black queen is gone. So that's why Alexander didn't capture the e5 pawn with his queen. That's why he played knight captures on e5. And now Mikhail Tal played bishop to f4, but instead of bishop to f4, Mikhail Tal could have played queen to h2 because giving a mate threat in one. Now king to f8, queen to h8 check, and now knight goes to g8. But that position didn't work well for the black, and the same position was played in the game. So let's see, bishop to f4, and now bishop to d6, queen to h2, king to f8, queen to h8 check, and now knight to g8. The best option for the black was to move his king to the e7, but black goes with the knight to g8, rook to h7, trapping his own queen, but that's not the case. And if you are thinking you can go with the knight to g6, then white could have played bishop captures on d6, giving check, rook captures on d6, and now queen captures on g7, king goes to, let's say, e8, and now your knight is gone. So in the game you cannot go with the knight to g6, and that's why black played f5, giving defense to his g7 pawn. Bishop to h6, another attack. You cannot capture it with the knight because knight is pinned, and same goes with the pawn. Rook to d7, giving another defend to the g7 pawn. Now white has to give another attack on g7 before rook to a7. So Mikhail Tal found this very beautiful move, which is bishop captures on b5. Such a brilliant move. Why it's brilliant? And if you are thinking you can capture with the a captures on b5, then rook to g1, rook to a7, and now knight captures on b5, and your rook is gone. So you cannot capture it with a pawn, and this bishop is also giving attacking the rook on d7. So black saved his rook by playing rook to f7. Now we have opened our way for the rook, rook to g1, rook to a7, and now knight to d4. But instead of knight to d4, a stronger move for the white was bishop captures on a6. First one is rook captures on a6, but white will win the game on g7 square. Let's say rook captures, g captures on g7, rook captures on g7, rook captures on g7. We have attack on your queen. We are threatening you a discover attack, and so this position is not so good for the black, and the computer is also suggesting that black should play queen captures on g7 and black should give away his queen. So you can see why this position is so bad for the black. And the second option is bishop captures on a6, but now we will play knight to d4, threatening the knight captures on e6, royal fork. So now bishop goes to c8 again, giving support to the e6 pawn, but now knight to b5 and your rook is gone. So but in the game Mikhail Tal goes with the knight to d4, and now black realized that his position is crumbling, so he gave away his knight on g4. So now black can block this g file physically. F captures on g4, bishop to e5, knight to c6, bishop captures on c3, bishop to e3. Some of you guys were thinking why we cannot play knight captures on a7, because now queen captures on a7 and we cannot win the bishop on c3 because our rook is hanging on g1 square. So that's the reason why we cannot capture on the a7. Mikhail Tal played bishop to e3, d4, rook g to h1, another brilliant move. And now our single threat is queen captures on g8 check, king captures on g8, and now rook to h8 checkmate. So that's why black played rook to d7. So when we captures on g8, king captures on g8, rook goes to h8 check. Now king has the way on f7 square. Bishop goes to g5. It's a good move, but another good move would be g captures on f5. Let's say black play d captures on e3, but now f captures on e6, the f7 square is guarded again, and the queen captures on g8 is again a threat, and your rook is also falling. So but in the game Mikhail Tal played bishop to g5, a captures on b5, rook 1 to h6, and the next threat of the black is rook to f6 check. Let's say you play g captures on h6, bishop captures on h6 check, rook goes to g7, b captures on c3, rook to b7 saving your rook, and now rook captures on g7, and this position is so bad for the black that computer is again suggesting that black should give away his queen on g7. So that's why you cannot capture the rook on the h6. Black played d3, b captures on c3, d2 check, king goes to d1, queen captures on c6, and now rook to f6 check. In the game black played rook goes to f7, but let's see what happens if you capture it with the pawn. G captures on f6, then bishop goes to h6 check. There are two ways, but if you go to e8, then queen captures on g8 is checkmate. So that's why rook goes to g7, then bishop captures on g7, king to e7, bishop captures on f6 check, king to d6, bishop to e5 check, king goes to d5, and now we will play bishop to b8. Your rook is under attack, and the checkmate on d4 is unavoidable. So that's why you cannot capture it with the pawn. In the game, black played rook to f7, and now Mikhail Tal finished the game with a beautiful move. Queen captures on g7 check. And here black resigned, because now if king goes to e8, then rook captures on f7, and this game is over for the black. I hope you like the game of Mikhail Tal, and if you like the game, please like this video, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.